What if I can increase my brain's thinking capability by increasing my cardiovascular ability further? If I think about a car, and a car has 100 PS, and now I double the motor's performance to 200 PS, is now something that is attached to the car's performance, in this case the motor, likely to experience a benefit from the increase in power output. One could take a look at acceleration or speed. In this case, the max speed would now both improve if I double the motor's performance. The best proxy now for cardiovascular ability, or rather cardiorespiratory ability, so both the cardiovascular as well as the respiratory system, in humans seems to be VO2 max, the maximum oxygen uptake. Absolute VO2 max is measured in liters per minute or milliliters per minute. If one then scales it according to body weight, it is measured in milliliters per kilogram per minute. Example, Garmin, so the watch I wear, estimates whenever I'm running and I hit 70% of my max heart rate for at least 10 minutes, my VO2 max value, based on basically running pace, but also the heart rate I had while I ran, and also the elevation. And currently, this results in a relative VO2 max value of 57 milliliters per kilogram per minute. If I scale this to my body weight, which currently is around 80 kilograms, then this results in 4.56 liters. So at maximum, my body, and my lungs in this case, can take up 4.5 liters of oxygen per minute. So what happens now if I double this value? Now, because I'm so low in my VO2 max value, and the record currently seems to be 96, held by Oskar Svensson, a Norwegian cyclist with a relative VO2 max of 96. It's not totally unreasonable to assume, at least in theory, if I would be Oskar Svensson at his peak, of course also assuming I still had kind of my genetics, which probably would not work out, but let's just now assume, okay, I could double it. What if instead of doubling, I increase it by 10%, which would still be a tenth of the effect? So what if I increase my cardiovascular or cardiorespiratory ability now by 10%? What happens now to my peak mental performance? A couple of markers I could measure. I already have the VO2 max over time. For this, I need to schedule basically at least one run a week in which I then hit these requirements of 70% heart rate for at least 10 minutes. I then need to test basically also throughout time my mental ability, which of course is modulated up and down by sleep and by sleep quality. Thus already the variance basically in mental ability just by other variables might be so large that I cannot measure the effect at all. But still, I could, for example, schedule an IQ test once a month. I could test my reaction speed every week and thus establish see whether there is a relationship between these two different values. I could also just go by subjective feeling, but since probably the gains are marginal and over time, it probably is quite hard to subjectively kind of judge this.